Fabrication. This has been the case all along. They want to make a case by distorting facts. They would manipulate statistics, extrapolate figures from their own perception about what the situation was 5, 10 years ago, and they tell you stories. They don't know what the reality looks like. And because they have this big mouth, they can tell any story and get away with it. We would be better off without them getting involved in any of our food security programs. I don't say this from an emotional viewpoint. We have a very long experience. We have seen their experience in many other parts of Africa, and people in Africa ultimately would be better off without the UN and its agencies substituting government, substituting programs, and distorting the reality on the ground. Everyone would tell, oh, if you're going there interviewing the president, please ask him this very simple question. Will he be scared? Will he be worried? What would be his reaction? It's part of the tactic. Asking it again and again to probe someone, whether it makes sense. I don't want to talk about that. If sanctions are to be imposed on any one official of this government, on what basis would those sanctions be imposed? Is there any legal ground for that? Why would you want to have allies? Why? Number one, it's a sign of weakness. It's a matter of losing confidence in oneself and trying to look for some kind of alliance or, we're not isolated. It's basically a distortion of the reality here. I'm not saying this is heaven. We have solved all our economic problems, but we're not working for 1 or 2 years. It's for generations that we're trying to build a nation and build an economy, and that requires sacrifice. We don't need elections. Yes, you can have elections in Afghanistan. You can have elections in Iraq. You can have elections everywhere. But what do these elections mean? It's another distortion in my opinion. And it's not a measure of any progress, of any change in the quality of life of people. It's part of the game for distorting realities and depriving people the right to live as human beings. To tell me there is free press, I go and ask every journalist, who pays you? How much money do you get? And do you listen to your boss? Or do you have your own free, independent source of income and finally do what your mind tells you? Independent media means you have no one to control you. You have no one to pay you any money. You have a free mind and a free expression. This does not exist in our real world. We're told this story about independent press, freedom of press, objective press. I say people are no more naive these days. It's infringing on the rights of others because practicing means, according to the philosophy or the teachings of these groups, they have to go and convert people. Converting people is practicing your religion, which by all normal standards should not be allowed in any society. We have been Christians for the last 17th century. We have been Muslims for the last probably 11 or 12 centuries. And we'll say, leave us alone, okay? You want to preach or practice your religion and you are seriously convinced that you know better on how to worship God, and go and please educate those who don't believe that God exists. Go to those who talk about Buddha, Confucius, or what have you, and when you go and succeed there, maybe God will receive you as holy person who's done service to his worship.